Hi, I'm Nan Simonson, and I took a trip this last week that I was so honored to have experienced. And it was to a place called Rancho La Puerta. Travel and Leisure magazine voted it, the #1 destination health and wellness spa in the world. Well, every year for, I believe it's maybe 20 years, Chef AJ, I'm gonna call her mentor, has, well, except for COVID years, has spent a week there teaching and training and doing cooking classes. And I was there last year with my husband. I was there last week with my husband. I was there 3 times with Chef AJ as her sous chef, and then I was there one time before when I actually met her there. So why am I going on about that? Because so many of the 30 of us that gathered together to be part of her group at Rancho La Puerta, one of 30 of 120 people there that week. So many of them were talking about her cookbook, Sweet Indulgences, that had just come out. Most of them had already gotten their copy. I had not. Yesterday, I got my copy. It is a beauty. It is such a perfectly made book. The pages are gorgeous. The photographs are just over the top. Everything that you see in this book is made to keep you alive. She has an apple pie here that's called the apple pie that won't make you die. Well, the point is that everything here is part of her, I'll call it directive, as she speaks to us about ongoing health of whole food, plant-based. There is no refined sugar, there's no oil, there's no butter, there's no animal product, and everything is as close to nature as possible, and then makes these great desserts. Well, I got the book, I went through it page by page, loved it, and decided that I was going to make this recipe because I love having muffins around. I keep them in the freezer. I usually double the recipe. It's not very often that I will make one recipe. I feel if you're gonna make a mess, make it worth cleaning. And so doubling recipes makes sense to me, but I didn't do it this time. And I keep them in the freezer, and I pull one out for myself and my husband when we're having a lighter meal. For example, on Sundays, we fast until brunch, have a really big vegan brunch out where they make perfect vegan food. It's called Oasis here in Riverside, California. And then for dinner that night, because we've had so much for brunch, I just do a big tossed fruit salad. There are usually 5 or 6 fruits in there, different kinds of melon, fresh pineapple, everything is fresh, grapes and strawberries and berries and banana and da-da-da. I make my own yogurt, the soy yogurt you'll find on my YouTube channel. That's just delicious and easy to do. And then we have a muffin with a little bit of nut butter, and it's such a treat. That's Sunday. So I am always looking for muffin recipes. Usually I make Chef AJ's cram muffins. Well, her phenomenal cram muffins are here. I just happened to get the recipe for them from an event that I went to, and the recipe was there. There's another thing that I had that's in here because I was at her house for dinner with a group of whole food plant-based people, and she served us a new creation of hers called sweet cornbread muffins. I wanted a second and a third and a fifth and a ninth of them. They were so good. Well, here's the recipe. Today, we're getting PCRM muffins. She has the recipe, but what I love is that a few pages back from the collection of recipes is this, I'm gonna call it master sheet. Oh man. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, here. Do you see what I mean by a master sheet? These are all the different muffins, all named. Isn't that special and smart. Well, okay, PCRM muffins. If you know PCRM, it's the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And as she said here, I made 450 of these jumbo muffins for a PCRM, I just told you what it stands for, conference. They called them Perfectly Crafted Remarkable Muffins. That was the label they ascribed to that, those initials. So I'm gonna make this today. And I've already put the ingredients out. We're starting with oats, to which I'm adding baking soda and baking powder, and then cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And then I don't know if you've tried this. If you need to because you don't have it, then use vanilla extract, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. But the recipe calls for what looks like this, and it's vanilla bean powder. When my husband and I were in Tahiti several months ago, we went to a vanilla bean kind of a farm. And to make this powder, they open up the bean, scrape out the seeds, dry them, and that's what you're getting. You're not getting it mixed with alcohol or some other agent that makes it a liquid flavoring that you can then put on your food. Chef AJ loves using powder because she says that it's much more flavorful than the vanilla extract, and you can get it without alcohol, but this is one way you get it with all that flavor. So we have the dry ingredients, even though we're going to be adding nuts and chocolate chips that are dry. We're mixing this up. I happen to have found this whisk that I just love because it goes flat on the bottom and it helps me mix dry ingredients like this well. I'm going to put this aside. All right, I brought over my Vitamix, and I have for my Vitamix an attachment that is a food processor. It's just so easy to put an attachment on rather than pull out another piece of equipment. And what I'm going to put in this is the rest of the ingredients for the PCRM muffins. They include 4 bananas. I can't wait for my bananas to get overripe because I always want to keep a stock of them in the freezer. And that's what this was. They were overripe where they're just, the skin is black and spotty. And I peeled them and put them into Ziploc bags. Somebody told me that she likes to just put them in, peel and all, and then run them under water and peel them then. I just like this, and it's easy. And you can see when you freeze them that, and then defrost them, they weep, which isn't a problem at all. Okay, so I have 4 bananas. I'm putting in a half a cup of date paste. I buy 2 pounds of dates at a time. You can get them at Costco, really well priced for the medjool dates. Pick off the stem, little hard thing at the end, and always break them and pick out the seed. It's not a bad idea to count your seeds and count your dates, or count the dates and count your seeds, because if you get a seed in a food processor or a mixer, it can ruin the blade. It can mess up the works. So I get 2 pounds at a time, and I make date paste. I also have a recipe for that at YouTube, Nan Simonson, just date paste. And so we have date paste. Now, what's the thing about date paste? Well, it's a food. It's a whole food that is soaked and then blended with water. So you're getting the fiber, you're getting the enzymes, the nutrients, as opposed to sugar. How about a cup of applesauce? Again, cooked apple that's pureed. And I'm adding a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to that. All right, that's that. Blend it well. to create a puree. Be just a second. Did I just turn it off? There. Man. I'm going to stop and come on in. And push it down. The date paste stuck to the side when I was putting it in. It's always a good idea to do this anyway, to always redistribute just a little bit in a processor or a blender. All right, one more time, quick, quick, quick. Okay, so I have the liquid ingredients, and I'll leave that in there. Okay. Put this down, and now let's get, what did I do with it? Oh, here. All right. The dry ingredients, adding the liquid to them. I'm going to show you something. That blade still has banana on it, and a little bit, oh, never mind. I was going to say a little bit of centrifugal force would take care of that, but I've already put the mixer on the floor. We can do without it. We'll leave behind a tablespoon or so that otherwise we would have gotten, but we're going to live with that. All right, here you go. And the rest that's in here. This could have been done in a mixer. It could have been done in a food processor. I like the size of the food processor. I like the point that if I were using my Vitamix mixer, I would have had to get all of this off of all of those protrusions on there, and this just saves some time. All right. We're mixing the wet into the dry. There's a lot of baking soda here. And that vinegar is activating it. So we want to get this in the muffin tins pretty quickly. Okay? Didn't want to overmix, but want to mix. I'm adding walnuts. Now the recipe calls for 4 ounces of walnuts, 1 cup of walnuts. Is this a low calorie muffin? Heck no. When you put a lot of nuts in something, when you put a lot of seeds in something, you've got a decent amount of calories. It also calls for a cup of chocolate chips, and I just decided to use less than that, simply because I want to eat these muffins the way I do Chef AJ's cram muffins, which in my mind is like eating a bowl of oatmeal, because the cram muffins have carrot, shredded carrot, shredded apple, applesauce, oatmeal, some date paste, but not a lot. And so it's less calorically dense, which means I can eat one and think of it more like a light snack rather than something that might be more, again, calorically rich. But these are fabulous muffins, and as an extra treat with some extra chocolate, and the chocolate that is recommended is date sweetened chocolate or chocolate chips, or unsweetened. I didn't have either of those, but what I had was 85% chocolate chips that were vegan and organic, and they only had 3 grams of sugar in like a quarter of a cup or half a cup. I just used what I had, and I had a lot that I use that I feel good about. This one was the lowest in sugar that I had. Okay, I'm gonna pile these in here. This is Isn't this a cutie? This is a silicone muffin pan that I got from, I think it was Costco, and I think I got 2 of them in the set. And they make me smile to have all these polka dots or little colored dots on a muffin pan is just not expected. I'm used to the silicone ones that are kind of reddy orange. I'm used to the metal ones, but not the happy decorated ones like this. Okay, my hands were washed before I began. What's happening is it's very clear that this batter is full of air from the baking soda and baking powder that went in here and was activated by the vinegar. So I want to get this in I'm using my Breville oven rather than my large oven. It seems a shame to open it, to start an entire oven for something like that, whereas the Breville oven is small, compact. I use it every day for air frying potatoes for my husband's lunch to go along with his open face avocado sandwich. And I use it to heat plates for dinner so that when we sit down to dine, we are putting food on warmed plates. If I haven't used it to, like yesterday, bake, what did I bake? Sorry. I baked some tofu. And so this is always the challenge for me. What about you? To get the muffins all the same size and not have to steal from one to put it in the other, which I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm going to use my spatula and end this. Call it a day, put it in the oven. They will cook in, let me look at the recipe. Let's see, in 40 to 45 minutes. Which one looks less than full? Okay. And that's it. So you will see a photo at the end of the video that shows the muffins when they come out. The instructions say to test them before you pull them out, and understand that if you've speared a chocolate chip, it's going to look wet, but you don't want any wet batter on it. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try the recipe. What I'd really like you to do is consider getting, as a matter of fact, I have a thing to say about that. Getting sweet Indulgence, and I'm going to put a link in the description, because if you purchase it by August 31st, let's say you go to Amazon and purchase it and make a copy, a screenshot, and then make a copy of that purchase notification, because if you send that, I'm going to put the link to send it to Chef AJ. You have a whole bunch of benefits, a number of free benefits that otherwise wouldn't be available, and it's quite a valuable package. I also want to say that Chef AJ will be back at Rancho La Puerta for her birthday this next year, which will be on March. She'll be there from the 22nd to the 29th, and then again in July, the 19th through the 26th. So look at Rancho La Puerta. It's in Tecate, BC, Mexico, Baja California, Mexico, and got to get the cookbook. What a way to go. Have dessert and have it actually build your body, not tear it down. Have a great day. I'm going to bye-bye.